Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the SoCap Improv Comedy Podcast. My name is Ralph, and I'm the owner and artistic director at the SoCap Improv Comedy Theater in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. If you're in the area, reach out and come take a class. If you find what you hear interesting, please feel free to email me questions and comments, good or bad. I love it all. Yeah, great. So, this podcast is meant for people who take improv because they want to be on stage in front of an audience, but also and equally for people who never want to set foot on stage, who do not see themselves as the next Tina Fey, but like improv because of the principles that it teaches. I like to consider it as like a practical philosophy, or in that you can practice it. You can see what happens when you try things that you can't try in real life. Like you can't, it's really hard to yell at somebody in real life and it's okay. But in improv, you can pretend to be somebody and then yell at them at somebody else, and it's fun. You can play, if you've never had children, you could play someone who has children and try to get into the skin of that person. So it's teaches you empathy and so many great topics. Or topics. Yeah, sure, topics. Let's say that. I'd say skills, all that stuff. Okay, so today what I want to talk about is the elephant in the room. Now, if you don't know that expression, it basically refers to sort of an unspoken thing that everybody knows, but nobody wants to say out loud. Like if you're in a room and somebody has a little, let's say, a little problem with gas, and there's like that moment of everybody freaks out and just tittering and giggling, but no one wants to say, hey, so and so, cut the cheese, right? Or when you're in your family and everybody knows that, oh, someone just had I don't know, like someone's just getting like divorced or whatever. But there's like some kind of topic that's like, oh, don't talk about such and such a thing, because that's the elephant in the room. It sits there like a giant elephant, and we try very hard not to acknowledge it. Now this can happen in scenes, and what I'm in the kind of elephant I'm talking about is when you as a performer are not digging it. The scene's boring. It's you don't know what the heck is going on. You're lost. You want the scene to end because it's like nails on a chalkboard. Whatever. Uh, I'm suggesting you bring that up, right? If a scene is boring, say it. Wow, man, this is boring. Uh, and ideally you would voice that through the character saying this is boring. Or if you're nervous, say it as a character. Oh boy, I'm so nervous. But we often tend to fight these things and push them away. If you're lost in a scene, acknowledge it. Boy, I have no idea where we're going. And and you put that, if you can put that into the voice of the character. So if you're bored in a scene because someone, can't say yes, they're not playful, every idea you have, they're shooting down, you say like, hey, character name, I'm really bored. And if you do that and you say it as the character, everybody knows you're bored. Everybody can see it, and that will focus everybody. And it's like a reset, you know. Now, I'm gonna say one caveat about this, which is do not blame your scene partner. Don't say you're boring, you stink, you suck, because that's just mean. Even if it's true, it comes across as, mean, and we don't want people to feel, when someone is feeling uh, you know, bad, we can feel that, and audiences don't like it. And this is the same in real life too. Like, don't if you're, well, I'll get to real life in a moment, but you talk about yourself. Don't say you're doing this, you're like that, blah blah blah. Me, I'm bored. I'm not having a good time. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. right? And what happens when you do that is you'll see the audience, they tend to laugh. And it's not laughing at you. It's that laughter of like, oh, that's what I thought was going on. And now they're like, okay, now I'm curious as to what's going to happen because they have expressed what I could sense, but they were all ignoring. Right? So it will give you like a renewed engagement from the audience. They will be relieved because, oh, they know it's boring, so maybe they'll deal with it and do something that's not boring. And it's in the real life, it's the same. It's the same principle. Don't accuse. Frame it collaboratively, or I would say eat it, like own it yourself. So for example, like if you're on and I this is a real life example, and it wasn't that long ago, within the last year. I was on a date with a person. Actually, we'd had a couple of dates, and we were just chatting, and I was just like, hey, I don't really feel like a vibe. Like I don't feel like a romantic vibe. What about you? And they were like, oh, actually I do. And whatever, we had a conversation about it, but it was like it cleared the air, as it were, right? um so talking about your feelings, which is what anybody I think would suggest that you do, and again, I statements, name the awkwardness, the thing that's, as the Stoics would say, the obstacle. What's the obstacle? Well, let's talk about it. That's the thing that you lean into and you identify and you acknowledge and you try to work through. But again, not with this kind of blame statements or it's your fault, you're doing this. We just talk about what's actually happening in a maybe not detached way, but in a more analytical way, and not as if like this is your problem, this is our problem. This is what's happening. I'm feeling this way. What do you think? Let's move forward. Right. And this would work in so many situations, especially given the um political climate, you know. So this happened to me, again, another personal story, but it wasn't, again, within the last year. This was on stage. And, my scene partner walked out in the middle of a scene and he had completely missed the point of what was going on. We were doing something, and just for some reason it happens, right? And he just completely missed the point, and the audience had that kind of, they have a kind of that nervous laugh, like you get to know different kinds of laughs, and there's that they're like, what, wait, what, am I crazy? Like they're not sure what's going on. And I just looked at him, took a beat, and I said, you have no idea what's going on, do you? And the audience really responded. They had a big laugh. They had, like, you could feel like the air, like the relief. Okay, I'm not crazy. Like that's what they want. They don't want to be crazy. Because if they think they're crazy, or if they missed something, that's when they'll tune out because it's not for them. So you want to keep it nice and relatable. Talked about the elephant in the room, right? So calling out what my scene partner had done, and again, through no fault of his own, like we've all been there, right? It prevented confusion of the audience, kept the show moving, broke the fourth wall. But my thing is, hey, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows we're improvising and that we're actors. I mean, I'm much more in the realm of Looney Tunes, classic Bugs Bunny, where every once in a while I'll look at the camera and say exactly what's happening, because again, everybody knows what's going on. We're not fooling anybody that they don't think we're really criminals and we're really doing these things. So to sum up, right? You know, if you're in a scene or if you're at a dinner party and you're feeling a certain way and you're trying to push through it, everybody around you knows something's up. They may not know what it is, but they know you're feeling off, right? And trying to fake it till you make it, can work. But generally, because people are giving you a leash to let you do that. But generally, it's better to just come right out, right? If you can. So calling out the elephant in the room resets the room. It lets people relax. They're now tuned back in and all that. And like a lot of things, use it sparingly, thoughtfully, but boldly. You don't want to use this all the time. You don't want to just like get into trouble because you're lazy and then just go, hey, I don't know what's going on. Ha ha ha. Because you know, because it's not cool. That's all. It works on stage, it works in everyday life. I use it all the time. As I always say, I live my life by improv principles. And I try very hard to do this. And the funny thing for me is that I can't think of a time that I have mentioned the elephant in the room. Again, not in an accusatory way, but in the way I'm describing, like, hey, I'm feeling a certain way, and it's gone poorly, right? It's nice to get this stuff out, So I try it the next time you're lost on stage. Say, I'm lost as your character, right? It will work as you do it as the actor too, but I would try to keep it in the character, and again, not in an accusing way, in a together way, and see what happens. So yeah. So once again, I'd love to hear your feedback, good, indifferent, negative, whatever it is. Because if it's negative, boy, I'd like to learn some stuff. That's what I'd like to learn. I love learning new stuff. So comment. Let me know your experiences. I mean, that's what every podcaster says, to get you to comment and boost the algorithm. I don't care about that stuff. If you like it, listen to it, and you do what you want. But I do this because I love it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time here on the SoCap Improv Comedy Podcast. Ciao.